How to Make Anyone Fall in Love with You, by Leil Lowndes. Introduction. Let me tell you a story. There's a young woman named Cindy, a manicurist who spends her days surrounded by the smell of nail polish and the quiet chatter of her clients. And for months, she'd been telling anyone who would listen the same sad story: I never meet any men. In my line of work, it's just women, all day long. One evening, around 6:45, as she was finishing up her last client, the bell on the shop door chimed. A deep male voice asked, "Excuse me, I know it's terribly late, but is it possible to get a manicure?" The client looked over Cindy's shoulder and her jaw dropped. Standing in the doorway was a man who looked like he'd stepped right out of a Greek myth. A true Adonis. But Cindy, tired from a long day, didn't even turn around. With her eyes still fixed on a hangnail, she called out, "Nope, we close in 10 minutes. As the man walked out, she grumbled, "Who does he think he is, marching in here at this hour?" A moment later, her ears, which were finely tuned to the sound of expensive cars, picked up the unmistakable roar of a Jaguar engine. She leaped up to the window just in time to see her Adonis speeding out of the parking lot, and out of her life forever. She had been so focused on the rules, on the time, on her own fatigue, that she completely missed the opportunity that had literally walked through her door. How many times have we been, Cindy? How many times has a potential connection, a spark of something wonderful, passed us by because we weren't ready, because we didn't know the right moves, the right words, or even the right way to look at someone? We often think of love as this magical, mysterious force. An enchanted evening, a strike of lightning, something that just happens to us. But what if it's not? What if love, like any other skill in life, has a science to it? What if there are rules, principles, and techniques that can turn chance encounters into deep, lasting connections? That is the bold promise of a fascinating, and perhaps a little dangerous book by Leil Lowndes called How to Make Anyone Fall in Love with You. Now, the title is a big promise. Anyone? Lowndes herself admits it's more like, practically anyone. But her book isn't based on wishful thinking or vague romantic advice. It's a collection of 85 specific, actionable techniques, drawn from scientific studies on psychology, biology, and human behavior. For years, scientists were just as perplexed about love as the rest of us. They could map the mating habits of fish, but the human heart remained a mystery. Then, slowly, they began to unravel it. They discovered the chemicals that make our hands sweat and our hearts race. They figured out why a certain smile or a specific phrase can feel like coming home. In this journey today, we're going to explore that science. We're going to unlock the secrets that Leil Lowndes spent years uncovering. By the time we're done, you will understand the hidden language of attraction. You'll know how to make an unforgettable first impression, how to build a deep sense of similarity, how to master the art of conversation, and how to tap into the most powerful and erotic organ of all, the human brain. This isn't about manipulation. It's about connection. It's about understanding what makes people feel seen, heard, and deeply, irresistibly desired. It's about making sure that the next time your Adonis walks through the door, you're ready. Book summary. Let's begin with a question that has puzzled philosophers, poets, and probably you, at some point in your life: why do we fall in love with one person and not another? You see someone across a crowded room. Your insides do a funny little flip. Your heart starts beating a little faster. It feels like magic, but what's actually happening is a chemical reaction. Scientists tell us that at the core of that feeling of infatuation is a chemical called phenylethylamine, or P. It's a cousin to amphetamines, and it gives you a similar jolt, that natural high that makes you feel like you're walking on air. But what triggers it? Why does one person's smile send a shot of pee through your veins, while another's does nothing? The answer, according to Leil Lowndes, lies in something called a love map, a term coined by the famous sexologist Drive. John Money, your love map is a subconscious blueprint of your ideal partner. It's etched into your brain during childhood, between the tender ages of 5 and 8. It's made up of all the little things you associated with love and comfort. Maybe it was the scent of your mother's perfume, the sound of your father's laugh, or the gentle way your favorite teacher would wrinkle her nose. These positive imprints become the triggers. Years later, when you meet a stranger who happens to have that same boyish grin or wrinkles their nose in just the right way, blam! Your internal PA factory goes into overdrive, and you start to feel that dizzying sensation we call love. Conrad Hilton, the founder of the Hilton hotel chain, once saw a woman in church wearing a red hat. He was so captivated that he followed her down the street after the service, and eventually married her. That red hat was a trigger on his love map. But a love map isn't just a list of positive traits. It also contains our deepest needs, our values, and our fears. And so, the art of making someone fall in love with you isn't about being perfect, it's about understanding and aligning with their love map. Lowndes breaks this process down into 6 essential elements, 6 targets you must aim for if you want to capture someone's heart. The first, and perhaps most critical, is the first impression. You never, ever get a second chance at love at first sight. The moment someone lays eyes on you, their brain makes 1,000 tiny calculations. It's a go or no-go decision that happens in seconds. The image of you in that first moment can burn itself into their memory forever. Lowndes tells a story about her friend, an older gentleman named Gerald. He often escorted several elderly women to social events, women he had known since high school in the 1940s. These women, while beautiful on the inside, had long since lost their youthful looks. One day, a rude man teased Gerald about his taste in women. Gerald was genuinely confused. "But they are all beautiful," he exclaimed. He then pulled out an old black-and-white photograph from his wallet. It was a picture of his high school's homecoming queen and her court. 2 of the ladies he was with were in that photo. To him, they were still as beautiful as they were in 1948. That's the awesome, irreversible power of a first impression. Because of this, Lowndes gives us our first technique, and it's a simple one. Be ready for love, always. Don't save your best self for a planned date. The most important moments often happen when you least expect them, at the grocery store, walking the dog, or taking the car to be serviced. How you look on the date is important, but it's not nearly as decisive as that very first glimpse. This isn't about being vain, it's about honoring the opportunity. For men, research shows clothing is more crucial. For women, it's her face and body. So, whenever you step out the door, step out dressed to kill your quarry. But being ready isn't just about your clothes or makeup. You also have to be psychologically fit to kill. You have to keep your mind and heart open to the possibility of connection, wherever you are. Like Cindy the manicurist, if you're closed off, tired, or annoyed, you'll miss the magic when it appears. Now, let's say you're ready. You're looking your best, your mind is open, and you spot a potential love partner across the room. How do you ignite that spark? How do you make their insides go all funny? You use your most potent weapons, your eyes. Everybody, Lowndes says, is an eye person. When you were a kid, your parents probably told you to look people in the eye. It's good advice, but for love, we need to take it a step further. Powerful, lingering eye contact stimulates a primitive part of the brain. It triggers a fight or flight response, flooding the body with those same love chemicals, like PEE. It creates an emotional state very similar to the feeling of falling in love. One study put strangers in a room and instructed them on how much eye contact to make. The results were clear. The more people gazed into each other's eyes, the higher their reported feelings of affection and passionate love. So, how much is enough? The average person makes eye contact only 30 to 60% of the time during a conversation. To create that sense of intimacy, Lowndes says you need to push it to 75% or more. This is the intense gaze. Don't look at their eyebrows or the bridge of their nose. Look right into their eyes, as if you're trying to see the optic nerve behind them. You're sending a powerful, silent message: I am completely captivated by you. But just staring isn't enough. Your eyes need to be warm and inviting. You need bedroom eyes. This isn't something only movie stars are born with. It's about pupil size. Large pupils are universally seen as more attractive and alluring. And while you can't consciously control them, you can manipulate them. When you look at something you find beautiful or interesting, your pupils naturally expand. So, while you're talking to your quarry, focus on their most attractive feature, their smile, their dimple, the color of their eyes. As you genuinely appreciate what you're seeing, your pupils will dilate, giving you that soft, suggestive, bedroom look. Next, you add what Lowndes calls sticky eyes. This is about what happens after you or your quarry finishes speaking. Most people look away during silences. Lovers don't. Their gaze lingers. It creates an unsettling, primal, and incredibly sexy feeling. So, hold their gaze for just a beat longer than you normally would. When you do have to look away, do it reluctantly, as if your eyes are stuck together with warm taffy. It's an electrifying move. Finally, there's the visual voyage. As you get more comfortable, let your eyes slowly wander over their face. Travel from their eyes, down to their lips, then perhaps to their neck and shoulders. It mimics the way lovers' eyes explore each other as intimacy grows. For men, this comes with a warning: be careful not to venture too far south and linger too long, or you risk sinking the ship before it even leaves the harbor. These 4 eye techniques, intense gaze, bedroom eyes, sticky eyes, and the visual voyage, are the first steps in the nonverbal ballet of attraction. They are scientifically proved aphrodisiacs. But eyes alone can't do all the work. Eventually, you have to approach. And this brings us to what Lowndes calls the gentle art of pickup. For men, the rule is simple: move fast. He who hesitates is lost. When you see a woman you're interested in, you must signal your interest almost immediately. But fast doesn't mean aggressive. It means making your presence known. First, use your eyes. Make that extended eye contact. She will likely look away. Women are often trained to do so. But here's the key: if she looks back at you within 45 seconds, it's a green light. That's your cue to offer a small, warm smile and a slight nod. The nod says, "I like you. May I make a reservation to talk with you?" Now you can approach. What do you say? Forget opening lines. They sound canned and insincere. The best opener is simple and related to the situation. What time is it? I love that watch. How do you know the host? The words themselves don't matter as much as your delivery. Your first sentence is 100% of her sampling of you so far. If you open with a complaint, you're a complainer. If you open with a brag, you're a braggart. But if you open with warmth and respect, you are charming. Now, for the women, the huntresses. You might think the man has to do all the work, but research shows that women actually initiate 2/3 of all encounters. They just do it more subtly. It's called female proceptivity. A female chimpanzee will literally walk up to a male and tip her buttocks toward his nose to get his attention. Thankfully, human females are a little less obvious. So how do women make the first move? Researcher Monica Moore spent hours observing women in social settings and cataloged their nonverbal solicitation signals. The number one most successful move? A broad smile. It worked over 500 times in her study. Other successful moves included a short, darting glance, dancing alone to the music, flipping her hair while looking at him, or accidentally brushing up against him. Sisters, don't be shy about this. Nature has given you the mandate of female choice to select the best mate. You are simply fulfilling your destiny. And don't worry about appearing too forward. The male ego is a wondrous thing. 10 minutes later, he'll be convinced he was the one who made the first move. The author tells a story of trying this herself in a restaurant. She repeatedly smiled at a handsome stranger. He seemed stunned at first, but eventually, he came over to her table. The next day, he attended her seminar, and when she told the story of how her smile engineered their meeting, he looked utterly confused. He genuinely believed he had been the one to approach her. So, you've made the approach. Now begins what drive. Timothy Perper, a researcher who spent over 2,000 hours in singles bars studying courtship, calls the dance of intimacy. He broke it down into 5 specific steps. If a couple follows this sequence, they usually end up leaving together or making a date. If they miss a step, they drift apart. Step 1 is the nonverbal signal we just discussed, the glance, the smile. Step 2 is talk. One person says something, even just hi. Step 3 is turning. This is crucial. When one person speaks, the other must turn their head fully toward them. If they don't, the interaction often dies. If they do, a gradual pivot begins. First the heads turn, then the shoulders, then the torsos, and finally, in successful encounters, their entire bodies are facing each other, belly to belly. Step 4 is touching. It starts with a light, accidental brush of the hand or a touch on the arm. How the other person responds is a huge tell. If they stiffen, it's a sign of rejection. If they accept it, or even return it, you're on your way to becoming a couple, at least for the evening. Step 5 is synchronization. This is the most fascinating part. As they connect, their movements begin to mirror each other. They reach for their drinks at the same time. They shift their weight together. They sway to the music in unison. They have become a synchronized unit. To make sure you don't stumble in this dance, Lowndes offers a simple acronym to remember: soften. S is for smile. Let a soft, accepting smile frame your lips. O is for open body language. Face them fully. Keep your arms uncrossed. F is for forward lean. Lean in slightly to show your interest. T is for touch. Find a natural reason to make brief, gentle contact. E is for eye contact. Remember the 4 techniques we discussed. N is for nod. Nod gently as they speak to show you're listening and you agree. This simple checklist ensures your body is sending all the right signals, freeing up your mind to focus on the next crucial element, the first conversation. A conversation is like making music together. The first one has to be a beautiful concert, not a series of discordant notes. The key is to discover your quarry's hot buttons. How do you do that? You become a detective. Lowndes calls this eyeball conversing. Watch their face. When does it light up? When does it go flat? If their face comes alive when you're talking about something, even if it seems boring to you, that's your cue to ask more questions on that topic. If their expression goes bland, gently change the subject. Watch their head. If it starts turning away, they're getting bored. Watch their body. If they start stepping back or angling away, you're losing them. Use their name and ask a personal question to pull their attention back. But what if you're stuck in small talk, desperately trying to find a more meaningful topic? Lowndes offers a brilliant technique called cherry picking. While your quarry is making small talk about the weather or the traffic, listen for any slightly unusual word, any reference that's out of place. That's your cherry. For example, you're in a coffee shop, hiding from a rainstorm. You're talking to an attractive stranger. The conversation goes something like this. You. Wow. Some storm, huh? Them? Sure is. But at least it's good for the plants. Plants. That's the cherry. Instead of going back to the rain, you pick it. Oh, do you have a garden? Suddenly, you've moved from the most boring topic in the world to something personal and interesting to them. That one word is a key that unlocks their world. As you move into deeper conversation, you can create a feeling of instant intimacy by using the premature we. Strangers talk in clichés nice weather. Acquaintances talk in facts it rained 5 inches. Friends talk about feelings I love the rain. But lovers use we statements we should take a trip if this weather keeps up. By skipping the first few levels and strategically using we in a sentence, like wow, we've really got to have stamina for these parties, don't we? You create a subconscious feeling that you're already a couple. You're building a foundation of connection. And the strongest foundation you can build is one of similarity. We've all heard that opposites attract, but science tells us that's mostly a myth. The truth is, birds of a feather flock together. We are drawn to people who share our values, our beliefs, and our way of seeing the world. Similarity makes us feel safe. It confirms the choices we've made in our own lives. It makes us feel like, it's you and me, baby, alone against this mad, mad world. So, how do you create this feeling of similarity, especially when you've just met? You start with the subconscious. You use a technique called echoing. Every person has their own unique dialect, a set of words they use to describe their world. Their job, their family, their hobbies. If a woman talks about her child, you should use the word child, not kid. If a lawyer talks about his profession, don't call it a job. If a musician has a gig, don't call it a booking. By echoing their specific words, you send a powerful subliminal message. We're from the same tribe. We speak the same language. It's a subtle but incredibly powerful way to build rapport. Next, you establish conscious similarity. This is especially important for winning over a man. While women bond by talking, men bond by doing things together. So, huntresses, find out what his hobbies are, whether it's surfing, golf, or just watching football, and express an interest in doing it with him. When you suggest his favorite activity for a first date, you're sending the message, this woman fits into my lifestyle. He wants to know that after making love, there will be something to do with you. For men trying to win over a woman, the key is to show that you share her basic beliefs and values. A woman wants to know that after making love, there will be something to talk about with you. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about finding genuine common ground. Find a subject that is deeply important to her, animal rights, environmentalism, social justice, and show her that you feel just as strongly about it. It's not the number of similar attitudes that counts, it's the intensity of one or two. But the deepest level of similarity, the one that can make or break a long-term relationship, is your unspoken assumption about what love is. What does a relationship mean to you? How much closeness do you need? How much independence? Everyone has a different comparison level, an ideal they've built from their past experiences. If your ideas don't align, the relationship is destined for trouble. So, how do you find out what your quarry's ideal is? For a man talking to a woman, it can be as simple as asking, what, to you, is an ideal relationship? But for a woman asking a man, who might be less comfortable with such directness, there's a cleverer approach. You can ask for his advice. My younger cousin asked me what an ideal love relationship should be, and I wasn't sure what to tell her. What do you think I should say? Then listen very, very closely. His answer will reveal his own blueprint for love. Once you've established this deep sense of similarity, you can introduce a touch of difference. This is where complementary needs come in. This is the Jack Sprat principle. He could eat no fat, his wife could eat no lean, and so between them, they licked the platter clean. We look for partners who can make up for our lacks. If you're disorganized, you might be attracted to someone who is meticulous. If you're shy, you might seek out someone who is outgoing. Find out what qualities your quarry admired in past partners, and then, subtly, show them that you possess those very same strengths. I got just what you need, baby. At this point, you've built a powerful connection. Your quarry sees you as attractive, interesting, and deeply similar to them. Now, it's time to aim for the heart of it all. It's time to focus on the most vulnerable and most powerful target of all, the ego. At the blazing core of all romantic feelings is the ego. People don't fall in love with you. They fall in love with the reflection of themselves they see in your eyes. Everyone, no matter how confident they appear, carries a deep-seated belief that they are special, unique, and different from everyone else. And they are desperately searching for that one person who will finally recognize it. If you can be that person, they will fall in love with you. This isn't about insincere flattery. A clumsy compliment can do more harm than good. Ego massage is a highly skilled craft. It's a graceful, four-step process. Step 1 is silent praise. We've already touched on this. It's using your body language, your intense gaze, your open posture, your forward lean, to send the unspoken message, I am irresistibly drawn to you. Step 2 is empathy. As your quarry is speaking, sprinkle your conversation with phrases that show you understand. I can see what you mean. I can identify with that. That makes sense. You're not just hearing their words, you're feeling their experience. And remember to keep the spotlight on them. In a new friendship, the smallest detail of their own life is more interesting to them than the most fascinating story about yours. Step 3 is admiration. This is where you start to introduce small reinforcing statements, what Lowndes calls kudos. These aren't big compliments yet. They are little phrases of approval like, that was a courageous move, or that was really smart. A friend of the author married a woman who would praise her husband for the way he sliced mushrooms. Oh honey, you did an absolutely superb job. It sounds silly, but he beamed with pride. She was praising something he took pride in, and that's the key. This leads to a more advanced technique, the bullseye compliment. Before you give any overt praise, ask yourself, what is this person most proud of? An accomplished man might be tired of hearing how smart he is, but he might melt if you tell him how handsome he looks. A beautiful woman might dismiss a compliment on her looks, but she might treasure you for praising her intelligence. Listen for the moments when their eyes light up as they tell a story. That's where their vanity lies. That's your target. Step 4, once you've laid this groundwork, is to bring out the big guns, the killer compliment. This is a knock 'em dead, on-target compliment that takes their breath away. It's not I like your tie. It's something unique, something deeply personal that shows you see the real them. Something like, you have the most incredible warmth about you, or I sense a real aesthetic quality in the way you see the world. The best way to deliver it is to look them straight in the eye, say their name, and deliver the line in one strong, sincere sentence, preferably right before you part ways. It will leave them speechless, and they will be thinking about you for days. As Lowndes says, a compliment from a new admirer carries far more weight than one from a current lover. It's a powerful weapon. Use it wisely. Now we move to a trickier part of the journey, navigating the vast and often treacherous canyon known as the gender gap. Men and women, Lowndes reminds us, are different. After decades of pretending otherwise, science has confirmed it. We think differently, we communicate differently, and we want different things, especially on those crucial first few dates. Understanding these differences is like a hunter knowing the habits of their prey. It's essential if you intend to make the kill. Let's start with conversation. Women, generally, are more people-centered. They bond by sharing feelings and exploring the subtleties of relationships. Men, generally, are more thing-centered. They talk about cars, gadgets, sports, and business. They bond by exchanging facts and doing activities. So, the technique is simple. Learn to speak the other language. Huntresses, brush up on man talk. Learn a little about politics, business, or even power tools. You don't have to be an expert, but being able to hold your own in his world will make you fascinating. Just remember the author's painful high school prom story. After she brilliantly fixed her date's car with jumper cables, he never called her again. Be smart, but not smarter than him. Hunters, you need to brush up on woman talk. Learn to be more psychologically oriented. Ask about people, feelings, and relationships. And here is a magic phrase that will make you seem like the most sensitive man on earth. Whatever she is talking about, simply ask, "How do you feel about that?" She will be so stunned to hear a man ask this question that, after she picks her jaw up off the floor, she will open her heart to you. Another classic difference: asking for directions. Men, for some deep, primal reason, would rather drive in circles for hours than admit they are lost. It's an ego thing. So, huntresses, your job is to stay lost. Bite your tongue until it bleeds, but do not suggest he ask for directions. Never, ever ask for him. You're not just questioning his sense of direction, you're questioning his competence as a man. Hunters, the reverse is true for you. If you want to show her you're a rare and confident man, just roll down the window and ask. It won't kill you. This brings us to the final, and most powerful, element: sex. Lowndes makes a bold claim: the most erotic organ in your quarry's body is not what you think. It's the 3 pounds of gray matter between their ears. The brain. If you can master the art of turning on their brain, you will have the key to making them fall in love with you. The biggest mistake people make in bed is following the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In sex, Lowndes says, you must forget the golden rule. A man needs to make love to a woman as a woman wants it. A woman needs to have sex with a man as a man wants it. So what do women want? Men, if you've been getting your education from male pornography, you've been learning all the wrong lessons. Lowndes offers a radical suggestion: watch films made by women, for women. Femme porn. In these films, you won't see raw, mechanical action. You'll see steamy sensuality. You'll see romance, emotional connection, and a slow, tantalizing build-up. You'll learn that for a woman, the story, the atmosphere, and the feeling of being loved are the good parts. The nitty-gritty for her is the romance. Your loving her makes her hotter. Another crash course? Read a Harlequin romance novel. Yes, it might seem corny, but 25 million women a month can't be wrong. You'll learn that the hero isn't just a stud, he's strong and sensitive. He's a man who says, "I need you. I want you. I love you." And what do men want? Huntresses, your turnabout is fair play. If he needs to add more romance to his sex, you need to add more sex to your romance. While love makes good sex hotter for a woman, good sex makes love hotter for a man. Men are often better at suspending reality during sex. They can get lost in fantasyland. They want to turn off their concerns and turn on their imagination. They want raw sex. Your job is to help them do that. Lowndes' equally radical suggestion for women? Watch a male porno flick. Not to imitate the actresses, but to understand the masculine mindset. You'll see that it's all action, no plot. It's visual, it's direct, and it's about pure, unadulterated lust. Seeing it will give you a better insight into the raw, playful energy many men crave. But here is the most important secret of all. No two sexualities are alike. Everyone has a unique sexual thumbprint, a core fantasy that was imprinted on their love map long ago. It's often a secret they've never told anyone. Therapists report that about 90% of men have a secret desire they've never shared with their partner. For many, it's a fear of being judged, of being seen as weird. The man who can't get married isn't waiting for the perfect woman. He's often waiting for the woman who can accept his unique sexual self. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to become a sexual sleuth. You must create a safe space for your quarry to share their deepest desires with you. How? You can tell a story about a friend who had a wild sexual adventure. This signals that you're open-minded and non-judgmental. Then, with a mischievous smile, you ask the magic question, "What turns you on?" When they answer, your job is to listen with total acceptance. This is the hot purr response. No matter what they say, you respond with an approving moan, a twinkle in your eye, and a desire to hear more. You ask details. You become an X-rated interviewer, drawing out their fantasy. And as you listen, pay close attention to the words they use. These are their trigger words. If he says screwing, and you say making love, you're not speaking his erotic language. During sex, use his words. Make up bedtime stories for him using his fantasies. This is bed rap. You become his own private 900 number. You are giving him the ultimate gift, total sexual acceptance. For women, the trigger words are often not about sex, but about the relationship. Remember Dana, the singer who needed to be told her voice could drive a man to destruction? Or Catherine, who needed to be number one? By asking a woman what is love, you can discover her relationship fantasy. Then, when you tell her you love her, you weave in her specific trigger words. You're not just loving her, you're loving her in precisely the way she has always dreamed of being loved. In the end, all these techniques, from eye contact to ego stroking to sexual sleuthing, are about one thing. They are about seeing the world through your quarry's eyes. They are about understanding their deepest needs, their hidden fears, and their most cherished dreams. And then, with skill and with heart, showing them that you are the one person in the world who truly understands. Commentary. So, what do we take away from all this? When you first hear the title, How to Make Anyone Fall in Love with You, it can sound a bit like a manual for manipulation. A collection of tricks to get what you want. And if used without care or conscience, I suppose these techniques could be just that. But as you go deeper into the book, you realize that Leil Lowndes is teaching something far more profound. She's teaching the art of paying attention. She's teaching empathy. At the heart of almost every technique, from echoing someone's words to discovering their deepest fantasies, is a single, powerful principle: make the other person feel seen, understood, and cherished. We live in a world that is incredibly noisy. We're all so busy broadcasting our own thoughts, our own needs, our own stories, that we rarely take the time to truly listen to someone else's. This book is a powerful reminder that the greatest gift you can give another person is your undivided, appreciative attention. When you learn to see the world through their eyes, when you understand what makes them feel proud, what makes them feel safe, and what makes them feel alive, you are forging a connection that goes far beyond surface-level attraction. Is it a science? Yes, in the sense that there are predictable patterns in human behavior. But it's also an art. The techniques are the notes on the page, but you are the musician. You have to bring the heart, the timing, and the sincerity to make the music beautiful. The killer compliment only works if you genuinely see something wonderful in the other person. The hot purr response is only powerful if you can truly embrace your partner's unique self without judgment. So here are a few simple things you can try, starting today, to put these ideas into practice. First, for the next week, practice the art of eyeball conversing. When you're talking to anyone, a friend, a family member, the barista at the coffee shop, pay attention to more than just their words. Watch their face. Notice when their eyes light up. Listen for those little cherries in their conversation and see where they lead. You'll be amazed at how much more you learn about people when you truly listen. Second, find an opportunity to give one sincere, on-target killer compliment. Think about someone you care about. What is one unique, wonderful quality they have that they might be proud of, but that people rarely mention? Find a quiet moment, look them in the eye, and tell them. Watch what happens. You're not just making their day, you're strengthening your bond. And third, become a student of connection. Recognize that attraction isn't just a random accident. It's a dance. And the more you understand the steps, the more gracefully you can move with others, and the more likely you are to find that partner who makes you feel like you've finally come home. That was a summary of How to Make Anyone Fall in Love with You by Leil Lowndes. We've certainly covered the main ideas today, but I have to be honest with you. A summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. It can show you the major cities and the rivers, but it can never replace the experience of actually walking the streets, smelling the food, and hearing the music. The real magic happens when you read the book for yourself. It's in those quiet moments, when a particular story or a simple phrase connects with you in a way you didn't expect. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time and attention. If anything we've talked about today has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just learning, it's an experience that can genuinely change the way you connect with everyone in your life. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep learning and growing together.